And let's see if we can connect that very practical Emerson to what seems to be very, very distanced, almost transcendental sage of Concord. Let's see if we can get at it by talking about the difference between a vocation he could clearly give up when he resigns from the condition of being minister of Second Church of Boston, and the figure who can enunciate those stirring maxims that you recited from Self-Reliance, and we could also take up in any of his essays. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron chord. Did the Emerson who spoke those lines inhabit any recognizable career in American culture in the past or in our present?
No, I don't think so. I think, I referred to the sturdy lad from New Hampshire and Vermont with some amusement. I do think I gave it a bit of a presentist reading, but I think that also belongs to the past in a way. Emerson might have looked at a figure like that who might have been imaginary as an ideal, right? Someone who could imagine other possibilities for himself when he was standing there, let's say at Harvard, giving the divinity school address, or in a church, right? Preaching. I think it's an aspirational figure. I don't think Emerson's position himself is something we quite recognize. I mean, he's a public intellectual in a way. I guess that's what we would call him now. Right?
Today we might call him a public intellectual, except that he seems constantly to be separating himself from public issues. It takes him a long time, for example, to address the anti-slavery question. And he, in the essay Self-Reliance, quite literally separates himself from philanthropic causes. Are they my poor, he asks, when he was hit up for some money for the poor. But Emerson had this sense that the position he was inhabiting when he resigned from the Second Church of Boston had a weird place in the social order as an exception to any of the existing places, as if he was subtracting himself from the social order in order to inhabit a site between the world you and I experience as persons who have bodies and have everyday activities and have human needs and want to help when we can, the world he would call the world of experience, or the already signified world, and the world of provocation that exists anytime Emerson develops an aphorism that would call us out of the world we inhabit and into a kind of, to use your word, aspirant world, in which the world we have might become the world we most profoundly want. That position is a position that Emerson would, in that lecture he gave to the group gathered to celebrate the anniversary of emancipation from the British West Indies, a figure he named the anti-slave. But what's really paradoxical about that figure is that it is as anomalous to a social order that claims belief in freedom and pursuit of happiness and life as is slavery. It's as if Emerson, in calling that figure the anti-slave, is occupying the space of exception that the slave inhabits in the social order, but with the sense that he's the negation of the slave. That's a very strange positioning.
Yeah, I see him taking similar positions. I think in other essays, the question of the anti-slave is a little more complicated, I think, than the displacement we see in self-reliance, in which we get a momentary sense of Emerson finding himself. He's modeling that for his readers in a way. Across his essays, I'm not sure there's an Emerson there. I've been thinking about and hoping we can reference the Christopher Cranch caricature of Emerson at some point, in which he's not exactly a body. He's just this disembodied I standing on a pair of long legs out in this romantic scene of the mountains of, I assume, Massachusetts.